Welcome back. Now, one of the largest medical aid companies in the country, Discovery South Africa, has come under fire on social media for hosting a health summit which includes Israeli healthcare providers. This comes after the continuous genocide that is currently happening in Gaza, and at the same time, hospitals and medical facilities within that same area is either working at 10% or not working at all. Now, the Israeli delegation will include Oranit Ido, who is the executive director for FOH, and Professor Eyal Zemechman, who is also part of FOH. Joining us now, I'd like to welcome Leonard Shapiro, who is part of the Healthcare Workers for Palestine in South Africa. Leonard, thank you so much for joining us here on News in Focus on Hilaal TV. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Faraz. Thanks for hosting us.
It's an absolute pleasure. Leonard, let's start off. Is this a case of Discovery not knowing who they are and their association to the Israeli government? Or is it, on the other side of a coin, they know exactly who they are, but they're going to bring them nonetheless?
Well, you know, they invited, for example, SAHPRA, the South African Health Products Regulation Authority. They invited Boitumelo Makokeleta. And she has now withdrawn because she only discovered a few days ago exactly who's coming. In other words, she discovered that the people from Israel that are coming have very, very close associations with the Israeli Ministry of Health. And the Israeli Ministry of Health is a government ministry that is completely connected to the Israeli Defense Forces, etc. So, and also the people that are involved, like the people you mentioned, like Noya Shiloh and Eyal Zemechman, are they advisors to the Israeli Defense Forces. So they're very, very much complicit. But to answer your question as to whether Discovery knew, I mean, you know, you have to be, I wouldn't say blind, but you have to be ignorant not to know what is going on in Gaza, for example, currently. And also, I mean, this conflict, or I wouldn't call it a conflict, but this occupation has been proceeding for, 76 years. And Israel is a pariah state. It's an apartheid state. And it's highly likely that, the chief executive officer of Discovery is fully aware of that, Yeah.
Okay, so talk to us about what the Healthcare Workers for Palestine is doing. Of course, you're mentioning off air, and obviously leading up to this interview, a number of your colleagues have been saying that there's been a protest that have been happening on Mount Nelson where this conference is going to take place. Letters have been written to Mr. Whelan, of course, who is the current CEO of Discovery, the group itself. Has there been any communication from his side? Has there been any recognition of who these individuals are from Israel? And if so, what has been that communication?
Yes, we've written to him. He has replied very courteously, but he has not addressed our concerns. Our concern that there's this very direct link between Discovery and now the Israeli Ministry of Health. He's skirted the issue. At least he's replied. But he skirted the issue to say that, this is a health conference and it's to do with health equity, which is really strange, actually, because if you think about it, the absolute lack of equality of health between Israelis and Palestinians is just like unbelievable. It's like the difference between health equalities in South Africa during apartheid. The divisions were enormous, the divisions of equality in health. And this is a health conference which is about health equity in the world, like global health equity. So it's a really inappropriate, and it's inappropriate to be in South Africa, of all places, which is why the SAHPRA CEO has withdrawn. actually withdrawn fairly recently from the conference. Yeah.
You actually, speaking about withdrawal, I mean, a couple of months ago, there was supposed to be a conference right here in Johannesburg in Constitutional Hill, no less, where it was supposed to host a number of Israeli individuals, academics in South Africa, and the moment they found out that their names were being mentioned, without them even knowing about it, they immediately withdrew or distanced themselves from it. Leonard, are the Israelis, and I ask this because it seems as if they're doing it or they're acting with this impunity. You see that what's happening right now in Gaza. Is it a case of they don't really care? They're just going to attend this conference. They're going to come to a country where this is the very same country that has launched the ICJ case of genocide against their own country. Is it a case of just, we don't really care, we're just going to come and we'll face the consequences if there are going to be any?
A lot of it has to do with what's called health washing, normalizing apartheid, as if they have nothing to answer to. So it's about normalizing healthcare, normalizing the situation in Palestine. So that's part of it. Also, I think that Discovery would like to get a slice of the national health insurance pie. I mean, this is what I'm thinking, and this is what the thinking is, that they would like to have a slice of the national health insurance pie in terms of profit making. And by bringing on board Future of Health and the players in Future of Health, there's some huge players from the United States there as well, let's not forget. And the United States are also completely joined at the hip with Israel in this genocide, because, as you know, if America stopped providing bombs, they would stop killing people. But I think that another reason that this conference is in South Africa is economic. They want to court Busamed, for example, and get a slice of the action, as it were, in our national health insurance roller that will be where Discovery will be involved, right, with government. Mm-hmm.
Leonard, I'd like to think if there is going to be another communication with Mr. Whelan from Discovery, is there an understanding from Discovery, and they're not here to defend themselves, they're not here to speak, we'd love to reach out to them if they do allow us the opportunity for that to happen. They've always prided themselves as being a medical aid that cares for the public, if you are, of course, wealthy enough to afford Discovery, because they seem to have been one of the medical aids that, of course, as the term is, charging an arm and a leg. That's private healthcare insurance across the entire board here in South Africa. Do they understand, I mean, the complexities of the healthcare situation in Gaza? You've got Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital, which is completely destroyed. You've got Shifa Hospital that's completely destroyed. Just a few days ago, the Kamal Adwan Hospital is near. It's basically on, and pardon my French on this, it's on its last life support machine. Do they understand that? Because if they were to understand it, they would understand exactly the perpetrators of the genocide are the very same people they're bringing and supposedly glorifying.
You see, this is a very interesting thing, and I want to get to this. The global north, the West, the United States, Britain, Germany, Israel. When it comes to people of color, when it comes to black and brown people, I have to just be blunt about it. There's absolute racism. It doesn't matter if black and brown people are killed. It matters when white people are killed. I can't believe I'm speaking so frankly, but I actually am. And I mean, that's what it amounts to. If they would never invite, say, for example, let's say a Russian delegation, because Russia's involved in Ukraine, and Ukrainians, being white people, are being killed. So that's also part of the inequality that's unfolding is racial inequality.
Leonard, thank you so much for joining us here on News in Focus on Hilaal TV. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
That's Leonard Shapiro. He's part of the Healthcare Workers for Palestine in South Africa. Of course, we will try and reach out to Discovery Health, try and get their version of it. We'll keep trying. But of course, as it comes at this very moment, this organization, the Healthcare Workers for South Africa, are going to continue to protest, and they're going to continue to demand answers from the medical aid giant with regards to the reasoning for them bringing these Israeli healthcare providers the future of health. Well, that's all we have for you here on News in Focus. We'd like to thank you, the viewer, for staying with us. From the rest of the team here in Johannesburg, stay beautiful, South Africa. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.